Today we're going to be talking about the AdMech Skorpius Disintegrator and Dunerider. Now for those people that want an unboxing, there you go, it's unboxed. Sorry I had to do that. Here's the thing, I'm going to do an assembly and rules all in one video so you can see what you're getting. I took pictures whilst assembling it, and I can give you some tips what to expect, choices, stuff like that, some ideas if you like to take things a bit further, but you'll have to watch the full video because they'll be popping up all around whilst I'm talking. Now if you don't watch to the end, you obviously won't see all the pictures, you won't see everything you need to see. However, what I'll do is I'll try and cover the main points before you get to them, so when you see the pictures you understand what I'm talking about. And I could say, I could go Ferromite cannon or Belarus energy cannon. Would that mean anything to any of you? So let's cover them first, shall we? Now you get very few options on these tanks, one in fact, and that means you can swap out the Ferromite cannon for the Belarus energy cannon. That's it. The Ferromite cannon is 25 points, the Belarus energy cannon 20 points. Yeah, just checked. Now the default loadout is a Ferromite cannon. That's a 48-inch range. It's a heavy D3, strength 8, AP -3, 3 damage weapon. It's a tank killing weapon. It's a tank killing weapon on an AdMech side that's been dominated by Dunerider so far. And Duneriders carry strength 10 neutron lasers, so do you need that? Well, here's the thing, before I move on to your options here. That, I'll show you a picture of that, but that is the Belarus energy cannon. If you put a magnet right there, you'll be able to swap the barrels over easily and be both. You can change it at will. It's easily done. It's not a big job either because of the way it assembles, although you'd have to think about that as you're assembling the model. So this option, you can magnetise this option, the one option the tank gets. You can't magnetise it to be both tanks, both the Dunerider and the Disintegrator. There's too many changes on it. It just wouldn't work out very well. Well, I suppose actually you might be able to if you're clever, but I'm not recommending it. Now, the Belarus energy cannon, your alternative, the one you can take in place of the Ferromite cannon, that's 36-inch range, heavy 3D3, so minimum 3 shots, maximum 9. Strength 6, so it's an infantry killer, AP -1, 2 damage, so it can take out Primaris Marines in one go. This can target units you can't see. That's something AdMech doesn't have yet, or does now, but it's something AdMech doesn't normally have. So that's useful, that's new, that is something we can work with. Now that's your main barreled weapon. It's this thing here. It's that, the turret that fits on the top of the tank. Again, I'll show you some pictures of that. But the other weapon you get, and I'll show you now, these on the front. Disruptor launchers, or disruptor missile launcher. That is pretty good on its own. It means if you do go for the mortar, you don't really have to worry too much about having dreadnought killing weapons because you've still got one. You've got a 36-inch range, heavy D6, strength 7, AP -2, D3 damage weapon with that disruptor missile launcher. And of course it carries 3 stubbers as well, the tank. The Dunerider doesn't have any options, it just comes as is. You get 2 Cognis heavy stubbers, 1 on either side. That's these guys. I've got some pictures of these anyhow. Again, I'll show you some photos. Best not glue them in. In fact, I'll talk about that now. The stubbers that go on either side come with ammo at the side here, which you can glue to the gun and the weapon and the guy. If you want to paint these, don't glue them into the tank. You can assemble them in one place like I've done and just glue them in later. That is not a problem. But it would be a problem to paint them once they're in, because you just won't be able to see one side of them. Of course, you don't have to paint the side you can't see, but it's nice if you're not getting paint all over the walls of the tank while you're trying to cover the bits that you can't see. I take the view, if you can't see a bit, don't paint it. But in some cases, trying to just give it a basic paint job ruins the paint job you can see. You understand? So sometimes you have to just do it the way everybody else does it, take them out and do it that way. Anyhow, it has heavy stubbers on both sides of the tank. Mine are not glued in, so we're talking this side and that side. And then you've got twin heavy stubbers on the turret at the top. Again, that can come off. You could magnetise it, but there's no point because other than for transport, of course. But if you look at the side of the tank, you've got these little aerials. Having something a bit higher there might stop the aerials from breaking, so might be better to glue it on. But anyway, 4 heavy stubbers basically for that. Both tanks travel 12 inches. Both tanks have 12 wounds, so they're kind of like Predator class, or maybe Ramo class. They have a 3+ save. You do get canticles of the Omnisire on them. They do have a data tether. That's a +1 leadership, +1 for leadership for anybody, you know, for anybody within 3 inches. They are a hover platform. Heavy weapons can fire and move. Cognus heavy weapons can fire and advance when you're advanced as well. So a Cognus weapon, you can advance and fire, but it's at -2. Now the weapon's hit on a 3+, so if you're advancing and firing, that's hitting on a 5+, which is good. It's very versatile. It's probably one of the most versatile transports I've seen, to be honest. But I've got like Chaos, Admech, Demons, well, Chaos Marines, Demons, you know, Orcs. Right then, transport. Here's some of the details. It can carry 10 Skitarii infantry, but it can't carry Cataphrons. Yeah, I know. It says destroyers or breachers, and it can't carry Balara's claw, so you can't have claw stuck on the top. I don't understand why though, because well, the Cataphrons, if you see there's a ramp, they could drive up and down that easily. So I can't really understand why you can't put 3 Cataphrons in there. I mean, let's face it, if you're talking about models you can actually fit in, you couldn't fit a full squad of Rangers in there, it's too small. So if they're talking about actual size models fitting in actual vehicle space, they're already at a losing argument there because the vehicle's too small to carry them. But Cataphrons should be able to get on, but they can't according to these rules, so unfortunately. However, these are Skitarii, keyword Skitarii, so the stratagems do apply. Anything that applies to Skitarii applies to the tanks, both tanks, which is good. It means you can knock that 3+ to hit down to a 2+ hit if you want. I think it's that. I'm thinking of something else. But anyway, it's good. It's Skitarii. That's the point. There's a few other things because it's basically a standard Admech Skitarii vehicle. You know, it will slide right into the existing rules, no problems whatsoever. It'll work with the strategies you normally use as well, so there isn't going to be anything weird there. There's a set, because of the way Admech was created with 2 rule books originally, sometimes you get a little bit of odd interplay going on between, or things not working right, like robots. You know, they're not really, they're kind of like bolted on the side of Admech rather than working with them properly. This works with Admech properly. Anyhow, without anything added, the Dunerider is 65 points. The twin Cognus heavy stubber that it carries is 4 points. And the Cognus heavy stubber it's got 2 of, is 2 points each. So it's 65 points plus 8 points. 73 points for this tank, the vehicle. For the disintegrator, a bit more complicated, it's got 3 heavy stubbers. They're 2.6, so that's 6. It's got a disintegrator missile launcher, that's 0 points. And it can take the ferromite cannon for 25 points. So you're talking 31 points and 85 points. Now the Belarus energy cannon is 20 points, that's 5 points less than the main cannon. Right, so that's it, 31 points, didn't I? So that's going to be like 116 points, I think. Work it out yourself anyhow, give you all the details. So it's less than that if you take the Belarus energy cannon, obviously. So these are cheap, these are really cheap. Now just something I should mention, anything that's a tank or a dreadnought that's less than 120 points, to me is a bargain. It is a bargain, there's no way to doubt it. Because you've got to hit them with heavy weapons to destroy them, that gives them value, because it means they're wasting the heavy weapons on a transport or a light tank that's barely cost you anything. You get your robots on the board, 200 odd points left, you know, more, and they're ignoring them to shoot at a tank. That's what you want, isn't it? You do want to save your expensive stuff from enemy fire, have them shoot at cheap stuff. If that cheap stuff is a threat too, it means they can't ignore it, they have to shoot it. So, right. Oh yeah, the tank is a heavy support choice, the transport is a transport choice. Tank has a power rating of 6, the transport has a power rating of 4. And that's the rules. The rule book, by the way, comes with various rules in various languages. Lots of options. You don't have to particularly worry, you know, if you don't speak English. In which case, why are you watching this video? But you could tell the friends that don't speak English that that's the case. Now then, I'm now going to just run you through a few bits. I'll just cover it all straight, so even you might see a few me repeating myself a bit here. First of all, the closest you get to the tank before it's assembled, well, before you actually get to choose how it's assembled, is this. The tank basically gets to roughly that stage without these bits on and without him and these bits on. Well, actually they're a bit wrong. So stage 1 of assembling the tank is just this core vehicle bit without committing yourself to one or the other and whatever. If you look, they are a little bit different. You know, I'll show you some of the pictures anyway. But after you get past chapter 1, chapter 2 and the rules is the disintegrator tank, chapter 3 is the Dunerider tank. So after you get past chapter 1, don't just carry on. Decide which tank you want to build and then go to the relevant chapter. Because if you don't, you will screw it up big time and you'll end up with the wrong tank. The door, if you're doing the Dunerider, clips in, closes. See, so you can open it and you can seal it again, quite good. You've got your tank thing here, it fits on there. So that means you can paint it easy separately, but it's a bit delicate. If you look at the bottom, I don't know if it's focusing on, but it's a bit delicate, a bit fiddly to assemble, but it does fit. If you get it to glue in properly, because that circle is actually 2 halves of a part, the left and the right, and that's part of the left and the right. So, one little staircase there. As far as the model's concerned, it goes together quite well. The kit is a good kit. I mean, I don't know if I can actually show you properly on the video, but let it focus. But all the parts on it fit rather neatly. At best, you might have to pinch it while it dries in a few places. But this bit here goes around the outside. You know, you see it? This bit, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces on that. But it goes together quite well considering it's a fiddly. It's just it's fiddly, but it's thick enough to glue properly, if you understand. So it's not a problem. This thing here looks like a nightmare. The turret isn't actually that bad. Getting the sides on, not the weapons, the bits the weapons glue on, but getting the sides on, that can be a little bit messy. You don't want to get glue on your hands when you're doing that, because you have to be able to squeeze it in and put it in. But there's also a tiny little bit next to the head you've got to be aware of. It goes from the side of the head to the actual front of the armour, like a cable plugging the gunner in. You can easily forget that. Another part you can easily forget is the handle on the doorway just inside there. I know that because I've forgotten it. I have to go and dig mine out. There's spare parts wise, the kit has a few big spare parts. The guns, for instance, I've actually glued my guns together, so if I want to use them on another model, the parts are there in one piece all ready to use. But there's scope there for conversion. This thing here, I actually I'll see if I can find you something, I'll show you it. Right, this is your Dunerider. This is my Orc Chimera. I made this a couple of years ago. Exactly the same thing. I run that as an Orc truck. This could be run as an Orc truck too if you leave the weapons off. You only need one heavy bolter, well, one big shooter. You could put the big shooter on the turret, customise the turret if you're running Orcs. Just saying. Another thing actually, these back bits, the fins at the backs, if you were to cut there and there, you could potentially tilt them, give them an angle like it's going around a corner, customise your model a bit. It'd be straightforward and easy to do as well. So there's a potential customisation option there for you. Whether you want the thing to move up and down or not, or glue it into place, entirely up to you. You might get sick of it falling out. It doesn't actually fall out, to be honest. It takes a bit of pulling to get it out, but you might get sick of it if it doesn't go in well for you. But the kit's a good kit, it's fairly well designed, everything fits together fairly well, providing you pinch it and make sure the joints are correct. If they're not correct, then you might not do so well. That's it, that bit's come off. Not so good for me. Something for me to fix later. But anyway, overall it's a good model. I would say, because I don't really like the design of it, well, the way they've coloured it, should I say, because I describe it as the London bus. It's just red, innit, you know. And you could do a lot better. Now, my thoughts on the colour schemes is a bronze or a copper around the bottom here, right, and make any of these bits around the bottom here bronze and steel, with red at the top, and these bits here where the guns go, do them in bronze or copper as well. The backs in bronze or copper. Actually, you could in theory put the bottom bit here in a kind of cream colour, Mars cream colour, the cloak colour, that might work. And then paint the bits in between red, so it's a combination of cream, red and copper or bronze. So it gives it a bit of a steampunk look. There's plenty on the back. If you look at the detail on the back, is that focus? No. So there's plenty of detail on the back and on the top. On the bottom there's nothing, of course. You could fit a few fans in there if you want. On the tank, that bit doesn't need to be there. It's put in because the this uses it and it adds strength to the model. But you don't really need it. You could cut that out once it's dry. Everything's still there. You don't need that back panel either, so you could literally gut it and fill it with all kinds of electronics. You know, scare opponent in a 40k game by making it light up and beep at them. I really like the driver. Not the driver, the guy sticking out the turret. He's kind of like got his hands resting on the bit, on the hatchway like that, and he's leaning forward like that. It's quite a good pose that for a model, to be honest. Overall though, It's a very good model. 45 quid. I don't know about that. There's a lot of parts on it though for that price, maybe, but they're currently adjusting their prices upwards. All the new models have all come out at what seem to be a rather expensive price. Sometimes adding £5 or even £10 to the price of the old models, and people are complaining about that. But I'm getting the feeling that the old models are now coming up to the price of the new models. So this 45 quid for a transport is the new standard. Rhinos might be rising to 40, maybe, I don't know. If that's an indication, I'd say 35, 40 quid for a Rhino. Quite a big price hike. Now, on the topic of price hikes, instead of getting all worked up and angry at GW for raising the prices, think of this. If you were to start buying somebody else's games, they'd get the message pretty quickly. And whoever else is making them games you're buying, they'd appreciate the custom. Also, you can get things on eBay, you get discounts from various companies. There's lots and lots of options. On the subject of paints, I've long since thought GW have been overcharging for their paints. I mean, this whole thing with the contrast paints, they've branded these as a very special new paint, basically doubling the price of the old glazed paints. And these are just glazes. This is the repackaging of a glazed paint. GW did a really clever marketing trick to sell loads of these, but this is just a glaze. These used to be about £2.70, is it? It's not £2.50, I can't remember. Now they're £4.70. If you don't like that, you can make your own easily, free, using base colours. I mean, that, like £4.70. Army painter washes, I think they're £2.30, I think. I can't quite remember, £2.50. But they're 18mm bottles, or 70mm bottles. That Citadel paint, that's a 12mm bottle, and it costs more than a 17mm bottle paint by other companies. Every single brand has products that are good and bad. Don't assume GW is the best on the market, because I tell you, they're not. But anyway, remember, you've got choices. You don't have to accept the prices if you don't want to. No point getting angry about the price rises. GW doing what they do to stay in business. And remember, there are always independent companies out there offering 10% off, 15% off, 20% off, 25% off. So you've got options right across the board. Right then, I'll see you in the next video.